Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in, fans. Today we have a great show. Second time at it. Couldn't quite figure out the echo with Coach Holt, so went ahead and canned that show, and now we are here live and solo because we have so much to talk about today. Today we are going to have a great down the farm. We're going to talk about Max Muncy and his return to the field. He's in Oklahoma City. I'm going to get to see him tonight with the Oklahoma City Comets. Hopefully I'm going to get there early. Hopefully get a chance to maybe sit down and talk to him like I did Blake Trinan and then also Joe Kelly and some of the rehab guys in the past. I know Max is from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He went to Keller High School, played for Coach Stramp, so I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask him. Going to get a chance to see him at least tonight up close and personal. So, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. We have a great crowd logged in. If you're logged into the first show that we started with Coach Holt, log back in. This is going to be a whole different show here. We have a great down the farm. So I appreciate you hanging in with me. And if you are logged in here or if you just got the notification, text message this out, message it out on social media. Let's get as big of a crowd as we can over here on Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network so we can talk some Dodgers baseball. As it is glorious today, it's always a great day to be a Dodger, but especially today because the Dodgers had a great comeback win last night. Now, the comeback win thing, 35th of the year, that's a good and a bad thing. That means, obviously, that you're getting behind in games, and typically for the Dodgers, that seems to happen like real early in games. And so the Dodgers have given up a lot of early runs and gotten behind and have had to come back. Thankfully, they've been able to do that 35 times this year. And I'll say this, yesterday's offense, the way that yesterday went, that felt more like it did in past games, like earlier in the year when the Dodgers were scrappy. They continued to fight and scratch and claw even when they weren't playing great offense. And so I felt like last night was more of the scrappy Dodgers that we've seen in the past. And it was great. It was great to see multiple people also deliver and be a part of the action. So on Monday, actually yesterday, kind of to me, maybe you have a different opinion. And if you do, hey, join the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. It kind of felt like we stole one yesterday because after the Dodgers got the lead and then they gave it back and they were down 2 in the 7th inning. It felt like, okay, this is the way the Dodgers have gone as of late. It just did not feel like the Dodgers were going to win that game. It felt like they were early on. Then whenever you had the 2-run home run, it felt like they kind of gave that one back by Fraley. And then whenever the Reds took the 2-run lead, it just felt like, again, just part of the stretch. And so from that point on, it felt like the Dodgers really stole victory from the jaws of defeat like they've done several times this year. So, again, that scrappy performance, Dodgers coming back. And, again, like I said just a minute ago, one of the great parts of this was that you've had several different contributors on several different levels on both days of this trip. So, on Monday, you had Yamamoto, Mookie, Teo, Rojas, and Ohtani. They were the big suitors or the big players in the Monday's win. And then yesterday you had the bullpen, the entire bullpen. How about the 2 rookies, Ben Kasparius, Jack Dreyer? Alex Vesia continues to be spot on. How about Alexis Diaz? Yes, sir. Back and playing against the team that he used to play with the Reds. Anthony Bonda, I thought Dave Roberts did a good job matching him up and getting him out at the exact right time. So Monday you had Yamamoto, Mookie, Teo, Rojas, and Ohtani. Yesterday, you had the bullpen, Tommy Edman, Will Smith, and Michael Conforto. And then obviously you had Freddie Freeman, who was big as well. We'll get into him. Andy Pages continues to put together very quality at-bats with Michael Conforto. The thing about Pages' at-bats with Conforto as well at this point in the season, at least recently, is just that they're fouling off pitches. They're getting deep into pitch counts. And in Andy Pages' case, after a deep pitch count, after a long at bat, he's actually gathering base hits. Michael Conforto is getting some hits, but then also drawing walks as well. So it's great to see different parts of your lineup come through in different days. That's what we've talked about, having a lineup that has length to it. When you have a lineup that has length, that means if 3 or 4 guys aren't hitting one day, then 3 or 4 guys are, and then they make up the difference for each other. So you don't have like everybody cold on the same day, but very rarely are you also going to have everybody hot on the same day. Hey, Ryan R. has joined. The off days are huge for Will. The Dodgers finally managing him well. Yes, no doubt about that. That's part of the show notes for today. So from an individual perspective, Dalton Rushing is not hitting the ball the way that he is capable of, and that is surely because he is not getting everyday playing time. So from an individual growth perspective for Dalton Rushing, it hasn't been the greatest of situations. But from a team perspective, Will Smith is holding his offense longer this year by leaps and bounds than he has in every other year. So pulling up Dalton Rushing. Bruce Davis, thank you so much, and good morning to everybody. Hopefully we can get everybody logged back in. We tried it the first time around, didn't work. We'll get a great crowd in here. So even though Dalton Rushing has not hit the ball the way that he is capable of, he has done exactly what this team needed him to do, which is to give Will Smith enough rest to where he can carry his offense late into the season and not wear down, and do so while winning games at the same time, of which the Dodgers have done. Now, they don't have the best record in baseball like they did for the longest of time, but they still do have that 4-game lead over the Padres, and as long as that's the case, you can play a little bit of big picture anyways, and you can give guys like Will Smith, maybe a Freddie Freeman, and others some rest to keep them fresh. So it's great to see the length of the lineup the last couple of days, where you have a group here that's helping this day win the game. The next day, it's a whole different group. Hopefully the day after that, it's a whole different combination of people. That's whenever you know you are meshing into a team that's starting to learn how, or starting back into the winning trend, is whenever you have different parts of your team that are coming through. So, hey, we talk about all the time with Dave Roberts. We have a great crowd logged in. Damian, trade deadline coming up. That's on the TikTok side, and I will answer that. Thanks. I'm going to type this in. Thanks for the question. That way I get some good interaction on the TikTok side. We have a great crowd on TikTok logged in. So as far as the trade deadline, I think the Dodgers are looking at still an outfielder. Stephen Kwan has been rumored to be one of the big players, and probably still a very big time back end reliever. So I think the first guy on the chopping block, and I did not say this until last year, probably is Dalton Rushing. And the reason why I say Dalton Rushing is because that he is blocked. I mean, the Dodgers have seen Will Smith is, in my opinion, he's the best catcher in baseball. Cal Raleigh's had a hell of a year. He leads the world in home runs. I get that, but he's hitting $160 in July, and Will Smith has the better batting. Will Smith has the better everything other than home runs and OPS, and the OPS is close. So for my money, I would take Will Smith every day and twice on Sundays. And so where is Dalton Rushing going to play? They don't have the 200-300 games to play Dalton Rushing in left field. Freddie Freeman's not going anywhere for first base. And so I think they're seeing firsthand just how a big of a square peg this is, trying to put it into a round hole. And so if you can get a Stephen Kwan or obviously it's not going to be Emmanuel Clase now, but whoever it may be, a high-end, high-leverage reliever, or like Austin says quite a bit, spread it out and go get 2 or 3 relievers that are the next rung down that actually have very similar statistics. If you can do that, then I think Dalton Rushing probably is the first guy on the chop block. And then I think another guy that just got brought up, congratulations to Alex Freeland. I think Alex Freeland also is a guy the Dodgers could move on if he comes up and showcase. Well, he's not going to quite have time. I think this is probably very good timing, and I think it's probably intentional for the Dodgers. With the trade deadline just a day away, there's no real time to showcase Alex Freeland one way or the other. So one reason you don't bring up a prospect 2 or 3 weeks in front of the trade deadline is if he comes up and he goes like 1 for 25, then the trade value plummets. And so you don't want that, definitely. So you bring up Alex Freeland. The Dodgers obviously knew they were going to do this. He's Rule 5 eligible in the off season anyway, so you're going to have to put him on the 40-man. Do him like you did Edgardo Henriquez last year. Bring him up late in the season, but not so early to where he has major league showcase. And if he's like Dalton Rushing, if he's not getting consistent playing time, which Alex Freeland wouldn't, you're probably not going to see the best version of him. And then that would be the trade value is based on the not best version because he's had spotty playing time. So the Dodgers waited until right in front of the trade deadline. There's not enough time for any other team to evaluate his major league experience. So the Dodgers got the best of both worlds. So I think Dalton Rushing, I think Alex Freeland are both on the chopping block. We had a big discussion the other day, Austin Brubaker and I did, about the elite outfielders, Josue De Paula, Zaire Hope, Mike Sirota, Eduardo Quintero. I don't think, of course, there was a good back and forth, and I played a lot of devil's advocate, but I do not think in any way, shape, or form. I would be shocked. It would be totally out of character if the Dodgers moved on Zaire Hope or Josue De Paula, because obviously they're so talented. And Zaire Hope, he's going to be part of our awesome Down the Farm we have today. On the Down the Farm, by the way, we have Max Muncy's rehab. We've got Julian Fernandez, who's pitching very well. We got Zaire Hope hitting tanks. We've got just a lot of great stuff on our Down the Farm segment that we're going to get to after our show. So I do not think that Zaire Hope, getting back to him, he had a home run and a double last night. He has been absolutely on fire lately. I don't think there's any way the Dodgers are going to let loose of him or Zaire Hope. I could see maybe the Dodgers maybe on an Eduardo Quintero. He was the best player in the Cal League, just got brought up to high A Great Lakes. He's at peak value right now because he's coming off of his season in the Cal League to where he was the best player, led in home runs, third in stolen bases, very dynamic player. So you could package somebody like a Dalton Rushing or an Alex Freeland at an Eduardo Quintero, and then maybe somebody like a Yoendry Vargas, and I think go and get a really, just about exactly who you want. So if the Dodgers want to go get either an elite back-end guy or spread that out and get the next tier of back-end relievers that have similar statistics, and then even maybe a Steven Kwan, somebody like that, I think Dalton Rushing, Alex Freeland, one of the four outfielders, probably not named Zaire Hope or Josue De Paula. And then one of the Dodgers have just a plethora of young shortstops: Yoendry Vargas, Emil Morales, Osvaldo Osorio, Miro Martinez, Sean McClain, Noah Miller, who's going to be on our Down the Farm today. He's been killing it. So the Dodgers have a million shortstops. I can see them definitely moving on one of them as well. So let's get into the manager part of yesterday. One of the big complaints that people always have about Dave Roberts is the over-analytical aspect of things, and that's probably the thing that I sing about the most. Like whenever a guy hits a home run and he takes him out next at bat, I complained about that to no end. But how about Terry Francona? Now, yesterday was exciting for me because the game featured two guys that I think are both going to be in the Hall of Fame as managers, Terry Francona and Dave Roberts. And I'll say this, Dave Roberts easily got the upper hand yesterday. Terry Francona was not good. His decisions just absolutely did not work. So, Fraley hits the home run to tie the game up, the two-run home run to tie the game up, they're in the third or fourth inning, whatever inning it was. And then the next at bat, Terry Francona pinch hits for him with the bases loaded and one out for a guy that I don't think even has a home run all year. And the Reds don't even score that run with the bases loaded and one out. And so that failed miserably because the Reds didn't score again. Fraley had just hit a home run. And then, if you remember, Scott Barlow was in the Dodgers organization. Probably 2015-16, maybe a couple of years there. I remember seeing him pitch in Oklahoma City many different times. So our good friend Scott Barlow was pitching well, and then Francona took out Barlow for Ashcraft, and Ashcraft gave up the 2 runs and the lead. So the high leverage maneuvers that Terry Francona used yesterday did not work out. But how about Dave Roberts? I feel like he took Tyler Glasnow out at the perfect time. He wanted to give Tyler Glasnow enough ebb and flow to work through some of his struggles, but not so much that it jeopardized the decision in the game. So I thought that was the perfect balance between letting Tyler try to work out some problems versus, hey, I got to take him out now to savor this game here. So I thought he took Tyler Glasnow out at the perfect time. I thought it was perfect that he took Anthony Bonda out with two outs. And how about bringing in Alexis Diaz? And then not only that, sending Alexis Diaz back out for the 8th inning. And then how about having Alex Vesia get the last 3 outs in the closer role when the day before Alex Vesia was just in normal relief in the 7th inning? And then how about trusting the rookies? Not only trusting Jack Dreyer, who's been fantastic, and Ben Kasparius, who a couple of outings ago was not good at all and had 2 outings in a row that weren't good. Dave Roberts showed a lot of trust in Kasparius and Dreyer, and the rookies absolutely came through. Not only that, he took Jack Dreyer out with 2 outs and brought in Ben Kasparius as if to show Ben how much trust he has in him. And I'll say this, whenever you continue to throw out young guys like Ben Kasparius into the fire, into high leverage situations, even after times where they struggle, like Ben Kasparius did, not his last outing, but the 2 outings before that where he gave up 2 runs and then 3. That's how you get young players out, back into the comfort zone, back into the trust tree. That's how you get their confidence back, is you say, hey, man, we're not worried about those one-offs. We know you're good. Get your ass back out there, Ben, and go do what you've been doing all year and go get these outs with the bases loaded. So bringing Ben Kasparius in with the bases loaded was, I thought, just a masterful maneuver, both for winning the game, a tactical move to win the game, then also from a big picture perspective of reeling that rookie back in to the trust tree. Then he brought in James Outman. He did not wait to bring James Outman in as a defensive replacement. He put James Outman in as a pinch runner for Michael Conforto, who had a great at-bat, the second great at-bat off the bench. James Outman then scored on the double and RBI from Will Smith, the second at-bat in a row from Will Smith, where he had a 2-strike RBI to either tie the game or give the Dodgers the lead. So that was kind of like the old double move. Obviously, there was only one player coming in. But the double move concept, where in the past National League managers would bring in 2 different guys. That way, one of the guys that was a new pitcher, that pitcher could be slotted in to the position of the batting order that was the furthest away. So by bringing in James Outman for Michael Conforto, the Dodgers would have had to have gone all the way back through the lineup to get to James Outman offensively. So you got the best parts of James Outman. You got a speed running the bases, and you got his tremendous defense in center field, although they did not hit him a ball because Alex Vesia made things look very easy in the 9th. So Dave Roberts, some huge moves. They all worked yesterday. Terry Francona, none of his moves worked. So with the 2 Hall of Fame managers, easily, Dave Roberts got the upper hand there. So very proud of him for that. Hey, Jack Dreyer, the rookies we said came through. How about Jack Dreyer's ERA down to 2.87? His whip is just 1.09, and he has a ERA of just 1.69 this month. That a baby Maytag. The Jack Dreyer is smoking hot right now. And I'll tell you what, the sample size for Jack Dreyer is darn sure big enough to be in the trust tree. If he is not in your trust tree, I don't know what else the young man could do, because it's, like I said, he's been fantastic. He's been consistent. And the sample size is big enough to where we need to trust him. And I think you're seeing that with Dave. Dave is showing trust in both Jack and Ben Kasparius, and that is fun to see. Not a good day at all for Shohei Ohtani, the golden sombrero. There's absolutely no doubt about it in my mind that Shohei Ohtani is pulling off the ball. Coach Holt talks all the time about wanting Shohei or any hitter to hit that opposite field gap. So what that opposite field gap does, it forces you to let that ball get a little bit deeper, and therefore you get to see spin, you get to see location, which means you have better swing decisions and you have a more accurate way of knowing where to put your barrel. Then also what allowing the ball to get deeper does it keeps you from pulling off. You can see Shohei Ohtani pulling off that front shoulder, and it is just ugly. So the golden sombrero for Shohei Ohtani, and what it was just not pretty to see yesterday, and what the Reds did to him, and what everybody's going to continue to do to Shohei Ohtani until he figures it out, is that they're going to throw back foot sliders. So it's a strike to ball concept. So the pitch starts as a strike. So when Shohei Ohtani makes his swing decision, the swing decision is he's making it while the ball is in the strike zone. Okay. But then, so it starts as a strike, then ends as a ball. Shohei Ohtani is chasing those back foot sliders that are strike to ball pitches. And then what other teams are doing, especially the Reds, is they're showing their fastball up and out of the zone to where the ball can't be hit. So Ohtani can't get to it and hit a home run, but yet he's still swinging at that. So the show fastball up and in, the back foot slider that is a strike to ball concept, Shohei Ohtani is swinging at them. He's got to start laying off those pitches. And to do that, I think he needs to think left center, because that's going to get the ball deeper, and that's going to make for better swing decisions, and then keep that front shoulder in longer. So Tyler Glasnow, similar to Dustin May's last outing, very hard to really kind of chew on, because it was like he was really good in stretches. He looked dominant in stretches, but then he only had 3 strikeouts. But he only had 3 strikeouts, but then he didn't get hit real hard. He had more walks than he did hits given up. And so it was like, well, there was a lot of good to what he did, and just using my eyes, it looked like there were times where Glasnow was very good, and then he was until he wasn't. And then when he wasn't, it just really went downhill very fast. So a weird outing, not one that I'm concerned about at all, especially considering that the game was close. He handed the ball over. Certainly not in a catastrophic situation. He gave the Dodgers at least a chance to come back and win the game. So very mixed results for Tyler Glasnow, no doubt about that. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 strikeouts, 5 walks. Here's the deal: 84 pitches, 46 strikes. So the strike throwing, no doubt, has to get better. I saw him in Oklahoma City be somewhat inefficient strike throwing here. And so I figured that would creep in a little bit along the way. It couldn't be as perfect as it had been to that point with Tyler Glasnow. So this is just kind of something I expected with him. I'm not worried about it. We'll see how things go forward with Tyler. Now, if 2 or 3 outings from now he's still walking people and pulling a slider, and he's still, at the 85 pitch mark and still not even throwing 50 strikes, at that point, and only striking out 3 guys, I think at that point you can start worrying about it. I don't think definitely right now is that time. It was great to see Tommy Tanks back. I say all the time, I like Tommy baseball better than Tommy Tanks, but hey, I will not give the runs back when Tommy Edman hits a 2-run home run to give the Dodgers a 2-run lead, and give Freddie Freeman credit. He was part of both huge rallies. He got the single in whatever inning it was. Edman hit the home run, I think third inning yesterday, maybe second, right in front of Edman's 2-run home run. And then Freddie Freeman had the big double down the left field line, right in front of the Dodgers. Actually, he tied the game, and then the Dodgers took the lead from there. So Freddie Freeman, it was great to see him in the middle of the action yesterday. I noted on the Dodgers Dawgs show on Saturday that I felt like it was the first time all year where it looked like Freddie Freeman was using his lower half. It looked like he was using his ankles, his feet, his knees, his lower half, everything, to where everything looked connected for Freddie Freeman. That was on Saturday. And so it's not surprising to me that Freddie Freeman since then has been hitting the ball, because his swing looks unlocked. Hitters use the term a lot, his something unlocked. And so that's something that I think has happened with Freddie Freeman. We'll see if he can stay healthy. And so that's absolutely exciting to see that Freeman, it looks like, has unlocked his swing and is swinging the bat with authority and in a natural way. The huge rally in the 7th was a lot of fun to watch. Michael Conforto worked a 3-2 walk, and he's approaching the Mendoza line. He's at 195 right now. But how about this? Conforto is hitting 350 in his last 20 at-bats, and he's hitting 300 in his last 40. So the sample size is increasing for Michael Conforto in terms of his production offensively, And that's obviously something that can really unlock that bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers. And with him, when him and Andy Pages, then if you get Max Muncy back, who's in Oklahoma City, again, we're going to cover him on our Down the Farm. We're going to cover Zaire Hope, Julian Fernandez. We have all sorts of great stuff to cover on the Down the Farm segment, so make sure and stay tuned for that. We have a great crowd logged in on TikTok. We have a great crowd logged in on the YouTube side. I want to thank everybody. Make sure and leave a comment, leave a chat. Make sure and like this video. That way the algorithm of YouTube makes the algorithm think that this is a video that viewers like, and it will get recommended more, and because of that, it'll get seen more. So in the 7th, after you had the 3-2 walk, you did have the 2 lucky hits. I mean, Mookie Betts and Will Smith just kind of hit little tennis lobs out there, what we call parachutes or Texas leaguers, and those are lucky, no doubt, because you just hit it to the right spot. But I will say this. It's crazy how whenever teams put the ball in play, they tend to make their own luck. You know, it's impossible to get lucky when you're striking out and not putting the ball in play. There's nothing from a luck perspective that can happen. But when you put the ball in play, you tend to make your own luck. And I'll tell you this, Mookie Betts and Will Smith have hit plenty of balls hard. We saw that earlier in the game with Will Smith. Just 100-mile-an-hour, 102-mile-an-hour line drives that are hit right at somebody. So never apologize for a parachute. Never apologize for a Texas leaguer, because the game of baseball definitely evens itself out. So it was great to see the Dodgers have a put the ball in play focus, and because of that, they were rewarded. They tied the game up in the 7th inning, especially after the grinder walk that Michael Conforto put together. Now, having said that, the Dodgers are still striking out way too much lately. So hopefully just seeing that rally in the 7th where it was a contact focus, just figure out a way to put the ball in play. Hopefully that will, and then Shohei Ohtani, hopefully he thinks left center. I'm hoping that refocuses the Dodgers into not striking out as much. You're not going to beat very many good teams and win very many games striking out 14 times, but the Dodgers did yesterday, and that's all that matters about yesterday. So Will Smith, an absolutely incredible player. The thing about him is he can adapt to whatever situation he needs. If he needs a single, he's going to let the ball deep. He's going to think middle of the field. He's going to use the big part of the field, and he's going to try to just parachute a hit out there somewhere. If he needs a double, he's going to get aggressive, and he's going to try to hit the ball a little bit harder, and he's going to try to find a gap or a corner. So the one thing that makes Will Smith, amongst many things, such a awesome hitter is that he has different clubs in his bag. He can change clubs. You know, if he needs to hit a pitching wedge like he did for to put the Dodgers in the lead yesterday, he can do that. If he needs to pull out a 3-iron, and he can do that to hit a double somewhere. But if he needs to pull out of his driver, he's darn sure good at that as well. So Will Smith has different clubs in his bag. That's one of the things that makes him really so effective. And then the quality of bats. We talked about quality of bats the other day. Any type of hit, any way you get on base, whether it be a stolen or whether it be a walk or a hit by pitch or whatever it may be, hard contact is a quality of bat. Any at bat that is 6 pitches or over, regardless of the outcome, those are all quality of bats. How about not just the good offense for Michael Conforto, but the quality at bats that he is putting together? Simply fantastic. Michael Conforto has been more than just the 300 at batting average in the last 40 at bats. He's also put together really quality at bats. And another guy Will Smith always puts together quality at bats. And Freddie Freeman likes to ambush the first pitch. But another guy, so if you're going to have guys that ambush the first pitch like Freddie Freeman does, Shohei Ohtani does from time to time, Mookie Betts, you also need to have other guys that are more patient, like Max Muncy. That's one of the things the Dodgers missed the most about Muncy, was he gave the Dodgers the most quality of bats. And so seeing Pages and Michael Conforto and Will Smith put together quality of bats, grind the pitch count, and then at the end have a positive result is huge for this offense, and that was big yesterday. And then again, Alex Vesia, I mentioned this earlier, made the save look easy. The Dodgers have had difficulties on the back end of their bullpen. Alex Vesia just made that thing look boring. Just put the Reds away, no doubt. And then Yamamoto on Monday, I have not covered this. Sensational, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. And how about this for Yamamoto? His first pitch strike, he threw a first pitch strike to the first 6 hitters, and he threw a first pitch strike to 20 of the 27 hitters he's faced. So it's as simple as this for Yamamoto to me. When he throws a first pitch strike with the splitter and the slider and the curveball that he has, all the dirty stuff he has, when he gets ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike, forget about it. You're not going to hit him, especially if you're the Reds and you're not a great hitting team as well. So that Yamamoto first pitch strike was simply fantastic. Good to see Mookie get 2 hits yesterday. And so I wanted to bring that up. And it was good to see Blake Trinan on Monday get back on the mound. I know he gave up a run, but nothing there to be concerned about his first time back out. So again, like I said, we have a great crowd logged in to the chat. I appreciate everybody coming back in and logging back in after we tried the first time with Coach Holt. Didn't quite work out. Ryan R., thank you so much for joining. The off days are huge for Will. Yes, no doubt. We talked about that earlier. Bruce Davis, hey, we will have another login, another call-in show. Not today. I've got too much technology going on, and we already had a failed attempt with Coach Holt, so I didn't go ahead and do the call-in show today. But so the next time that we will have that will probably be, I would guess, Sunday night and then Tuesday. So it's looking like the call-in shows will be the Sunday night show and the Tuesday show. So make sure and log into that. Can't wait to hear from you again, Bruce. No doubt about that. Mo Lester, thank you so much for joining. If we aren't aggressive or making good moves at the deadline, we aren't serious about repeating. I could definitely see the Dodgers seeing Max Muncy being the answer at third base and saying, well, you know what? Michael Conforto has been hitting 300 in the last 40 at-bats. Who else out there has been better than that as a left fielder? And then also, I could see them saying that, hey, Blake Trinan's coming back. Alex Vesia is good. We might move Dustin May to the pen. So there you go. I mean, but we'll see. But I still think the Dodgers need I don't think it's that they're not serious to be contenders. I just think that they couldn't find the guy that they wanted for the price tag that they want. They're not. I don't think they're going to give up DePaula. I don't think they're going to give up Hope. So I think if the other team is stingy on wanting one of those two, then I think the Dodgers fans will be disappointed with that. I do think, like I said a minute ago, they will move off of Dalton Rushing just simply because, not because he's not great, just because I think they've seen it with his own eyes that he just doesn't have a position to play and that's not good for Dalton himself. I do think they would move off of Alex Freeland. He is a very attractive player, maybe an Edgardo Henriquez, who still has good trade value. So I wouldn't go as far as to say they're not serious about it. But who do you think we might get at the trade deadline? I could see a Stephen Kwan. I could see any of the relievers, Ryan Helsley, Johan Duran, Griffin Jacks. I could see anything from there to any of the next-tiered guys that we covered on our last show where the Dodgers could get 2 or 3 relievers. So you have a couple options like we talked about. Go get the big reliever like Johan Duran or Griffin Jacks, or go get a couple of relievers that are in the tier below that. If it stays in brand, it would probably be the second option there. But I don't see the Dodgers getting through this without getting another relief in. I could see them going without and getting. I could see the Dodgers going through this and not getting an outfielder or another stick. But I don't see them going without getting a bullpen arm. The only way that would happen is if the return was so ridiculous that the Dodgers felt like it was irresponsible. So I would say, Mo, the Dodgers are going to get a couple of the second-tier relievers, which, as Austin Brubaker said a couple of times in our live shows, the statistics of those guys are just pretty much as good or almost as good as Griffin Jacks and Johan Duran anyways, and Emmanuel Clase is off the board. Hey, Ryan R. says the way that he played yesterday, how bad he played, I'm calling it now Ohtani go for at least 6 Ks in today's 4 innings, accompanied by a home run. Yeah, you know that Ohtani will want to make up, and great players, they don't let one side of the ball affect the other. Not only that, they want to make up. So if you have a bat at bat, they want to do something on the other side of the ball to make up for it. And Ohtani is that kind of competitor where you would expect him to come out and take the ball and really want to make good for having the golden sombrero yesterday. Mo Lester, Dodgers better not trade Hope or DePaula. I want to see them both on the Dodgers eventually. Tracy Calvillo, excited to see Freeland today? Yeah, that will be exciting. Bruce Davis says put him out on the field and let him play. I think he's talking about Dalton rushing. Yeah, Mo Lester, Alex Freeland is playing today, so that will be exciting. Mo says, I've been wanting the Dodgers to call up Freeland ever since Muncy got injured. Yep. I think it's the trade deadline timing. There's not enough timing to allow another team to go, well, he can't hit Major League pitching. If you had a 30-day window, then you would have enough of evaluation time. And then the problem was that Alex Freeland was not going to get consistent playing time. And so you're going to have a Dalton rushing situation to where he wasn't going to be the best version of himself. That was going to make his trade value go down. So I think the bringing him up the time they did is calculated to where you have to just go on prospect status and not any kind of Major League playing time status, which is why they brought him up when they did. Ryan R., hoping to Paula trade for a piece of a possible World Series. Tell me which is better. I know what I'm choosing. I hate to choose in between players, but I personally think that Zaire Hope is the better defender. I think he has the potential for more power in the outfield. Either one of them is going to be a corner outfielder. If you held a gun up to my head, I would, and you said I had to trade one or the other, which you know me, I'm all for moving on prospects to give them the best chance. The Dodgers will replenish their farm system. I would keep Hope and send DePaula because, first of all, I think DePaula probably has more trade value. That's one. But I think that Zaire Hope plugs in defensively more plug-and-play wise. He's a great athlete. He's a better defender than Josue DePaula. They have different profiles, but I think their offensive profiles, I think you could make the case you really can't choose between either. So I think the defense wins the day there. And if that's the case, then Zaire Hope wins that. Bruce Davis is in the chat. And yeah, Bruce, I can't wait to talk to you again on our next live. Thank you so much for joining today. Hey, Ryan R., the Fab Four, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Ohtani, and Snell are finally all healthy. I'm already salivating seeing them in the postseason. And don't forget Blake Snell as well. Keith Potter, thank you so much for joining. Conforto is not in my trust tree. He is not in mine either. I'm just stating facts that he has been good in the last 40 at-bats and that he has put together not just hits, but quality at-bats as well. Already said, let's see, but he has done enough lately to have Friedman not pull the trigger on an overpriced outfield rental. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think if they can get somebody that they like for the price tag so this turns into more of a want than a need. So whenever you have a want, this is a great point, Keith. You don't give away a Zaire Hope or a Josue DePaula if it's a want. You only give away a Dalton Rushing or somebody like that if it's a need. And so Michael Conforto has put it in the middle of that want/need category. And because of that, the Dodgers are not going to give away, I don't think, any of their huge prospects, or at least not in bunches to where it would really hurt. So that's a great point, Keith, no doubt about that. Ryan R. says, I'm feeling a huge bounce back from Ohtani. I totally agree. Trish Sloan says, De La Cruz helped the Dodgers out too. Yeah, not great defense. Kind of nonchalant, too nonchalant for me, if you will say. Hey, Trish Sloan says, hey, Casey, thanks for putting on a great show. Well, thank you for watching, and thank you for that wonderful comment, Trish Sloan. I really, really, really appreciate that. Is Freeland starting today? That I don't know about starting, but I think he is playing today. Tracy Calvillo has reported that. So actually, let me look this up and let me open give me 1 second here and let me see if I can find something out. If you're in the chat and you have a way to confirm, I am looking this up myself. But Alex Freeland, I don't want to say something. I don't have this confirmed because I have not looked it up. I've been doing a lot of research and that kind of stuff. So let me see if I don't see a lineup for today. If you have it confirmed that Alex Freeland is playing today, put that in the chat and we'll go with that. But Tracy Calvillo reported that earlier in the chat, and so that's where we're at here. Tracy Cavillo says that Freeland is playing today. I do not have that confirmed. I would have to imagine they're not bringing him up. They're going to let him play at some point today. Would be a great day. Keith Potter, Casey, the Dodgers had rushing working in left field last year. Why not put him there? Because there's not enough time to play a major league outfield right now. I think they came to the conclusion that with Dalton Rushing to become a serviceable major league left fielder on a team that has Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and is trying to win a World Series, it would take, hey, I follow my friend who has box seats behind the catcher. See, Conforto is at his best in August, October. Yeah, hey, we should stick with them. That's on the TikTok side. So let me type this in. Great point on Conforto. Great point on Conforto. So there's the TikTok side. Dodgers Will says that Conforto is best in August, October. We should keep him. Hey, and so thank you so much for joining there. So back to what we were talking about with Dalton Rushing. I think the Dodgers came to the conclusion it was going to take a couple of 100 games in left field. They didn't want to take that time in AAA this year. They probably figured they were going to bring him up sooner than that anyways, of which they did. So they just don't have time to make him a serviceable outfielder, one that's better than anything they already have. And their entire goal was to use Dalton Rushing in a way that kept Will Smith healthy and at his peak. So I just don't think they had time to make him the outfielder defensively that he needed to be to come up and have success. Craig Osterberg, give up players who are 26 and up and players they will lose at the end of the season like May. Dodgers run is now with the players they have. So Craig Osterberg is on the wavelength of moving on May. May is a walk. This is a walk year for May. So yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with that. I also wouldn't have any problem if the Dodgers decided he was part of the bullpen plan to move into the bullpen to bolster it up if you wanted to go for a high-end reliever. And then I think at that point, if you kept Dustin May, he goes into the pen. He becomes the next tier down type of guy. I could see the Dodgers having that plan, but I totally understand your point there. If you're 26 and up, they'll lose. Again, the comment is give up players who are 26 and up and players that will lose at the end of the season like Dustin May. That is a very good point. Keith Potter said I would keep DePaula. Tristan Sloan says trust the process. And Conforto's defense, Keith Potter is not impressed with. Keith Potter also says I don't feel any trade at this deadline is worth Rushing, Hope, or DePaula. That's another point. Is the return, is this like part of the third base equation is there was nobody out there that was attractive enough to be really aggressive with? Is there a now that Manuel Clase is off the board, Johan Duran, is Griffin Jacks, are those guys, are they worth it to you to give up a DePaula or a Hope or a Rushing? Are they good enough for you to do that? That's a great point there, Keith Potter. So it says Rushing's defense can't be worse than Conforto or Hernandez. Yeah, well, I mean, Conforto has, I'll say this, yeah, that their defense hasn't been all that great. That's a good point, but I just think that's where the Dodgers have moved guys around so much, especially Dalton Rushing. I just think they wanted to give him the ability to incorporate at the major league level at the position that he is comfortable with. So, hey, that is all I have on the Dodgers part of things. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to transition over to our Down on the Farm segment. And again, we're going to cover Max Muncy. We're going to cover Zaire Hope. We're going to do all that. You know, I love all the prospect talk. So please stick around for the Down the Farm segment. So with that, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. And let's take a trip down the farm. Welcome to Dodgers Down on the Farm. So glad you decided to stick around and listen all about the action down on the farm. The first thing I wanted to get into on today's Down the Farm show is the fact that the Dodgers have added so much speed into their system. Of course, who you're seeing right here is Kendall George, and we'll just let it loop on his 3 stolen bases from the other day. But how about this? That's just part of the equation, by the way. Adding fast players to your system, just being fast, doesn't automatically mean, I've seen a lot of fast guys that had no idea how to run the bases or certainly even how to steal a base. So just being fast doesn't mean anything. The Dodgers have had a lot of fast players like in the last 7 or 8 years that didn't steal a lot of bases. Gavin Lux would be one of those guys. But not only are the Dodgers getting fast guys, they're also utilizing the stolen base. I think the bigger pizza boxes they have for bases have really made a difference there. So how about this? That AAA Oklahoma City and Rancho both lead their league in stolen bases. AAA Oklahoma City has 2 players in the top 10 in stolen bases. Esteury Ruiz, who is currently up with LA right now, and Justin Dean, who is a blur. Then Alex Freeland is 12th in stolen bases. We've been telling you how good of an athlete Alex Freeland is. James Outman is 16th, and believe it or not, Olwardo, who leads the PCL in home runs, who is the all-time home runs and RBI leader in the history of the Bricktown era. Ryan Ward is 19th in stolen bases in the PCL. Tulsa at AA, they've been the worst base stealing team in the system. Matter of fact, they've just struggled all year in just about everything. But they have Taylor Young, who is 7th in the Texas League, and they just added Cole Myers, who I promise you, Cole Myers is one of the fastest players in the league. So he will steal some bases for them. And as for the Loons, this young man you're seeing on the screen here, Kendall George, leads the entire Midwest League in stolen bases. Josue De Paula is 10th. And then when you go down to the single A level, actually, you can add Eduardo Quintero now to High A Great Lakes. He's actually been promoted. So I did not catch that on my post here. But Jaron Elkins leads the Cal League in stolen bases. When Eduardo Quintero left, he is 3rd. He's still listed as 3rd in the standings as far as statistics. In the Cal League, Jose Meza, who is a good athlete, is 12th. And Elijah Hainline, who has been promoted to High A Great Lakes, is 16th. So, of the 4 affiliates, they have 3 guys, Esteury Ruiz, Kendall George, and Jaron Elkins, who all lead their leagues in stolen bases. And 2 of the affiliates, Oklahoma City and Rancho, both lead the league in terms of overall team stolen bases. So the Dodgers, again, they have made a big emphasis on adding speed into their system. And not only are they adding speed, like to be more athletic on the field, they have put an emphasis on actually using that speed to steal more bases. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was a very interesting and exciting aspect to the way the Dodgers are adjusting their system as they go on. No longer the 3 true outcomes, so that's exciting. Hey, starting with AAA Oklahoma City, Blake Snell had a really good rehab outing last night. Welcome to Dodgers Down night for AAA Oklahoma City. 4.2 innings, no hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts, 4 walks. Now here's the big deal. His benchmark was 75 pitches. The Dodgers wanted him to hit 75. He hit 76. The Dodgers also wanted him to go 5 innings. He went 4 2/3. So he hit his benchmarks. That is huge with the Dodgers. That's the under the hood type of stuff, like with the Blake Trinan situation. I kept telling you, just wait till you get the back-to-back. Well, when you got the back-to-back, though, we have seen the hole that he left in the Oklahoma City, down in the Oklahoma City, but the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup since he has left, just the quality at bats, the way he drives in runs. And whenever the injury first happened, it was just before Clayton Kershaw got his 3,000th strikeout. I just didn't think for all the world he would ever be back, so I am totally glad that I am wrong on that deal. So exciting to monitor Max Muncy. Now listening to the broadcast last night, Alex Friedman mentioned that he thinks, or at least the organization thinks at this point, that he will be with AAA Oklahoma City all week. So I will have a chance. I'm going to Oklahoma City tonight, and I am excited to possibly have a chance to see Max Muncy. Hopefully, Mike, like I did Blake Trinan, Joe Kelly in the past, Tyler Glasnow, Clayton Kershaw. Hopefully catch him maybe for a 5 or 6 minute interview. If I can do that and he'll agree to that, I certainly will get him on for an interview and post that tomorrow. So excited to go see Max Muncy tonight. Saw him way back when the Dodgers first signed him, however long it was ago, out of the A's, and I saw him a lot with Baylor as well. So, hey, this is Julian Fernandez right here, and this guy is impressive. I'm just telling you, Julian Fernandez is pitching really, really well. And not just that, when I took his video, the times I've seen him in person, his stuff is electric, man. That 99 to 100 at the top of the zone, that changeup, the slider, it's all very, very good. So Julian Fernandez is a guy that, in my opinion, definitely you need to have on your radar because he is really pitching well. And if the Dodgers need reinforcements and they want to use a reinforcement from in the system, my opinion is I think that next guy would be Julian Fernandez. And for good reason. I'll say it, I'll put it to you this way. I think it should be Julian Fernandez because he is pitching very well and his stuff looks really, really good. Hey, another guy who's really, really good. This is Noah Miller. Noah Miller, you know, he was that guy that won the Gold Glove Award when he was with the Twins at the high A level at shortstop. And so you're kind of thinking this is a glove first type of defensive player that has his offensive game in development. Well, how about Noah Miller and the way he has developed at AAA Oklahoma City and the way he's actually hit since he's been promoted? 2 more hits last night for Noah Miller to move his average up to 309. He has back-to-back 2-hit games. He has hits in 3 games in a row and 4 multi-hit games in his last 6. So, big presence. I mean, he's just an elite defender. Big dude. I didn't realize how big he was. Runs really well, as you see right there. Very graceful in the way he moves around shortstop. If he continues to play offense like this, you have a big-time prospect for in the system in Noah Miller. No doubt about that, because he is very good defensively and just got to match the offense, and then away we go. So let's move now down to the Double-A level, and let's talk about a young man sticking with the shortstop position and sticking with really, really good defense. It would be very interesting to see, as we're going to open up a file here on Sean McClain, just defensively, which one's better between McClain and Noah Miller? You know, I don't like to compare players within the system because that's really not what I do, and it kind of creates controversy there. But Noah Miller, Sean McClain, both extremely good defenders. Maybe the 2 best defensive shortstops in the system. I don't say that lightly, but these 2 really can pick it and play some defense. Of course, Sean McClain, his batting average is approaching the Mendoza line, so unlike Noah Miller, he hasn't quite put it together offensively yet, but to match that great defense, so we're kind of waiting for that. But I will say this about Sean McClain, the younger brother of Matt McClain, who we're seeing with the Dodgers, with the LA Dodgers right now, and that is that he has had a lot of really good at-bats as of late, really the last month, that he hasn't gotten really anything out of. He's hitting a lot of hard balls right at defenders. So we'll see how things go. We'll see, you know, when speaking with Sean McClain, whenever we did his interview about a month ago, he mentioned that the offense definitely does have to get better. And so we'll see if that actually happens for him. And if it does, he becomes a really, really nice prospect. Hey, a young man who's turned himself into a really nice prospect as well. This is Cole Myers, who had 2 hits last night for Double-A Tulsa to move his average up to 276. Lots and lots of speed. And you guys know, if you watch Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, I love watching speed. He laid down a bunt right there against the shift. So it's one thing to have speed, it's another to be able to use it. So how about get on top of the ball, hit hard ground balls. That's a good way to beat out ground balls, get a lot of base hits, especially if you use the big part of the field like you did there. And then also lay down bunts whenever the opportunity is there. So not only does Cole Myers have speed, he also knows how to use it. And so keep your eye, like I've said several different times, keep your eye on Cole Myers. Really an under the radar type of position player prospect. Really good player. A lot of people were surprised when the Dodgers chose him to move up to Double-A instead of Zaire Hope or a Josue DePaula. But I think the age had a lot to do with that. And then also, he's a good player, and he fit for what the Tulsa Drillers needed. So, hey, let's move down to the High A Great Lakes level, and man, it was a star-studded event last night for the Loons. Zaire Hope, tank. I mean, look at that. That is a tank. 3 hits last night for Great Lakes. Absolute bomb that you're seeing there. 12th home run. You also had an opposite field double that you saw just a minute ago. Zaire Hope is 8 for his last 15. 3 home runs, a double, 5 RBIs. He also has scored 10 runs in his last 5 games. So Zaire Hope, he has been all year that prospect that, he's been really high in the prospect ranks. He's been that guy all year, and he has lived up to that billing, and there's no doubt about that. And hey, I just wanted to also mention Kendall George stole another couple bases last night. For the second time since Sunday, he stole both second and third and then drew a bad throw and scored on it. On Sunday, he also stole 6 bases. So wanted to throw that in there while you're looking at Zaire Hope about Kendall George and how he is using his speed very well for High A Great Lakes at the moment. That is a carrying tool, not a carrying tool, but it's actually a survival tool for Kendall George because he is so fast. His speed is such a great tool that it will continue to give him chances to develop the offensive side of the game and continue to try to become the best version offensively that he can possibly be. Cameron Decker, have a day. We remember the 6 hits and the 10 RBIs last year, which was a franchise record for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Yesterday wasn't quite that great. He'll probably never ever outdo that 6-hit, 10 RBI game last year. But last night was pretty darn good. He had 3 hits, 2 ribeye steaks. He picked up his 4th double of 2025, and he's 6 for his last 10, including 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and he's slowly getting back in order. He had a lot of momentum ending last year. He got up to Great Lakes, was going to start with Great Lakes. Actually, did start with Great Lakes. Couldn't quite get things going because he had a break in his hamate bone. So he had to go ahead and stop, get that fixed. He got that done, and now that he's back, he is slowly getting back into the player that we know that he is, because I'm telling you, this is a dude that is absolutely massively talented. Grew up playing shortstop, so he's a great athlete. Has played just about every position for the Loons, and he has excelled at all of them and is starting to play really great offense. And who you're seeing right here is one of the most talented left-handers in the game of baseball, and that would be in the prospect ranks, and that would be Maddox Bruns. If you remember, Maddox Bruns was, Billy Gasparino said he was the best left-handed pitcher coming out of his draft. Through injuries or whatever, and sometimes just not pitching well, Bruns has just not put it together the way that I'm sure that he would like to this point in his career. But don't forget, Maddox Bruns is still just a 23-year-old, so still very young. Last night, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, and he got his first win of the season. Huge slider / sweeper, whatever you want to call it, working to the back foot of the righties. That's with a fastball that's 95, 96. Really good stuff. Lots to like. Just got to keep in the zone, stay healthy, and continue to just build momentum by putting back-to-back really good outings together, stacking them on top of each other. So I wanted to show you Maddox Bruns and his really good outing last night. And the last guy we're going to cover tonight is a guy that we have covered a couple of times, but probably not as much as we should have as of late, because he has one of the most electric right arms that you will ever see, that of anybody in the game. That is Christian Rubeck. This is a guy that is 100 plus with dirty slider, dirty off speed. Got to see him a lot when he was at OU. Got to see him a lot when he was with Kansas State. And man, his right arm is absolute electricity. The problem is the strike zone is something that he has been fighting for a long time. But here's the deal, man. Christian Rubeck is putting it together. We've said it for a long time. If he puts it together and he starts landing that little cutter and his slider and his 100-mile-an-hour plus fastball, and he throws strikes consistently with it, watch out, because his right arm is just absolutely awesome. So how about this? This is from Austin Brubaker. Since May 18th, that's 17 games that he's pitched in. He's thrown 16 innings. He has a 2.81 ERA, a 3.30 FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, a 38.8% strikeout percentage, a 14.9 base on ball percentage, so he's still striking out a ton of people. The walk rate has come down. His average against is just 164. Whip is just 119, so it's under that 120, which is kind of the magical number. That goes to show the strike throwing has gotten a lot better, and he has 2 saves. Christian Rubeck has been dominant, as Austin mentioned in his post, and the swing and miss stuff is absolutely nasty. So, hey, that's going to do it for today's Down on the Farm. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, the Dodgers dog community is absolutely the best. And a reminder, as I do each and every time, it's a great day to be a Dodger.